That night, the radio in our patrol car went silent for exactly 3 minutes. Only after that did we start hearing the screams. But the strangest part, the gas station was empty. The pump was still running, a cup of coffee sat hot on the counter, and not a single soul in sight. No one expected the gas station attendant to just vanish like that. He didn't run. He wasn't taken in any normal way. He disappeared, like he evaporated into thin air. It all started on a rainy early morning around 1 a.m. I'm a police officer here in Baxter, Kentucky, and that night we were patrolling the highway nearby when we got a call to check on a gas station that looked abandoned but still had signs of activity. The lights were on. One of the pumps was still dispensing fuel, like someone had dropped it mid-fill, and the whole place was completely empty. The name of the attendant on shift was Jeremy Blake. Young, 23 years old, just hired. It was his first night working alone. His car was still parked outside, his wallet, phone, even his snacks all untouched, as if he'd stepped away for just a second and never came back. We checked the convenience store. The security footage had stopped recording exactly 3 minutes before he vanished. No signs of forced entry, no struggle, no noise, just a glitch in the system and lost time. When we walked back into the store, a coffee cup was still steaming. It looked like he'd just left, but hours passed, then days, and no one ever saw Jeremy again. We searched for miles, brought in dogs, helicopters, volunteers from town. Nothing. Not a trace. The scariest part came days later when we reviewed older footage. Weeks before, in the middle of another night, a shadow passed in front of the camera, but no one had reported any movement that night. The shadow was tall, thin, and seemed to float instead of walking. The face was blurred like the tape had been tampered with. Since then, the station shut down. They say that on the quietest nights, you can still hear the pump kick on by itself, and sometimes a scream echoing from the woods behind the store. Jeremy Blake was never found. There's no logical explanation, just fear, and the certainty that he wasn't taken by something human. He was taken by something that had been waiting, something that didn't want to be seen or... I heard someone crying, but when I came back with the gas station attendant, the door was locked with an out-of-order sign, and the entire bathroom was covered in dust, like no one had stepped inside for weeks. The strangest part, I had just been in there, and I swear on everything I saw the stall doors swinging and heard a woman's voice crying softly like she was begging for help. But officially, that place was shut down, abandoned. And whatever I encountered in there, it wasn't human. It all started on a regular night while I was on a long drive to visit my mom in the countryside. It was already past 10 at night, and the road was practically empty. I needed to stop, use the restroom, and grab a coffee. That's when I saw this isolated gas station in the middle of nowhere. It didn't look abandoned, but something about it felt off. The air was heavy. I pulled over, got out, and went straight to the women's bathroom. The light was dim, but it was on. As I stepped inside, I heard a faint crying sound coming from one of the stalls. My heart jumped, but my first reaction was to ask if everything was okay. "Hey, do you need help?" I said out loud. No response. Just soft, muffled sobs, like someone trying not to be heard. I thought maybe someone was sick or hiding to cry alone, so I took a step closer. But just before I could open the stall door, the crying stopped. Total silence. I stood there for a few seconds, trying to process what was going on, and then the air turned heavy. A strong smell of mold and something sour filled the room. I rushed out, freaked out, and went straight to the gas station attendant to tell him what had happened. His expression changed instantly. He went pale and asked me, his voice shaking, "Did you say the women's bathroom?" I nodded. Then, He said, "But that bathroom's been closed. It's been under renovation for like 3 weeks. We don't even keep the key out here." At first, I thought he was messing with me, but he went inside the convenience store, grabbed a big ring of keys, and walked back with me to the bathroom. He unlocked the door, and when we stepped inside, everything was covered in a thick layer of dust. The sinks were rusty, the mirrors foggy, and the worst part, no footprints, no signs of recent use. Everything pointed to that place being untouched. For days, I started shaking. I had just been in there. I saw the door moving. I clearly heard a woman crying. Since that night, I haven't been able to stop thinking about who or what was in that bathroom with me. The rest of that drive felt endless, and every time I pass by a quiet gas station now, I remember that crying, and the thought that maybe, just maybe, that woman is still there, trapped in a place no one should ever enter. It was supposed to be just another normal car, parked at the gas station in the middle of the night. Headlights on, engine running, but completely empty. I swear I saw that car there. I went up to it, looked inside, and there was no one. No soul. When I came back with the attendant to show him, the car had disappeared, as if it had never been there. But the ground was still wet, and the tire tracks, still fresh, suddenly stopped, as if the car had evaporated into the air. This happened on a Monday night. I was traveling for work, coming back from a delivery, and I needed to refuel. It was almost 3 a.m., and that was the only gas station open in the middle of the road. It was raining heavily, one of those downpours that made the windshield feel like an aquarium. I pulled over, turned off my car, and waited for the attendant, who was serving another car a little further down. That's when I noticed the other vehicle, black, headlights on, engine running, but just sitting there. I thought it was strange because no one got out, no one moved. After a few minutes, curiosity got the best of me. I grabbed the flashlight from my dashboard and went over to it. I looked through the driver's side window, and there was no one. I went to the passenger side. Nothing. No baby seat, no bags, nothing. And the weirdest thing, the car was locked from the inside, but the engine kept running and the headlights just kept staring at me. At that point, I got a chill down my spine. I felt like I shouldn't be there. I quickly went back to my car and called the attendant, explained what I saw, and he even laughed at me, but he came with me. We walked over to where the car was, and there was nothing, no vehicle, no headlights, just the sound of rain falling, and the wet tire tracks on the ground that stopped in the middle of nowhere, as if the car had been pulled off the road by an invisible force. The attendant turned pale. He said it wasn't the first time this had happened there, that some drivers had shared similar stories, but no one really wanted to talk much about it. Since then, I've never stopped at a gas station at night again, and every time I see a car parked with the engine running, I drive straight past it, because sometimes what seems like just another car could be something that shouldn't be here.
If you've made it this far, then you know this story is just the beginning. But trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a spine-chilling moment. Every week, we dive deeper into the unknown, unraveling dark stories and unexplained mysteries that'll keep you up at night. And hey, if you enjoyed the terror, share this with your friends, because what's the fun in being scared alone, right? Let them experience the thrill, the suspense, and the heart-pounding moments with you. Trust me, they'll thank you later. Stay tuned for more stories, and remember, the darkness is always closer than you think. Subscribe now, and let's keep exploring the unknown together.